doing my at-home workout. And this is the self-isolation station. No naughty water for me this week. I'm drinking high-quality H2O out of my Fighting Narwhals water bottle. Shout out Fighting Narwhals, my beer league team. I'm Darren Brown, at Darren Fun Brown on the Twitter. You may also know me from my podcast, Sound of Hockey. This is the logo for that. This is also the logo for that, representing really hard this week. I do that podcast with John Barr of NHL2Seattle.com and also Andy Ide. And if you haven't heard our episode this week, we talked to Brenden Dillon, who is an awesome veteran of the NHL. Super cool guy, and he talked about in the episode getting cut from a junior B team. I think 3 or 4 different teams cut him before he finally decided to play for a team that was like an hour and a half away, just so he could keep playing. This was after he didn't get drafted to the WHL, so, persevered. Again, doesn't get drafted to the NHL, but he eventually signs a free agent deal. And now he's played almost 600 games in the NHL. So really cool story of perseverance. Definitely give it a listen. Speaking of perseverance, I heard some news this week that Florence Schelling, which I don't know if you know that name or not, but she was a goaltender that led the Swiss women's national team to bronze in Sochi. And they had no business doing that other than the fact that she played out of her mind. It was awesome. Well, she got named this week as general manager of SC Bern, and it's believed that she's the first female GM of any major men's sports team. So really groundbreaking stuff, very, very cool. I actually remember watching her play for Northeastern. I don't know how I saw it, but somehow it was on TV. I'm pretty sure they played outside at Fenway Park before the Bruins Flyers game, I think, several years ago. And what stuck out was that Florence Schelling had this outrageous Arturs Urbe style goalie mask that was not really a goalie mask, but it was something that she had pieced together, like some sort of Frankenstein thing. Thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, her name stuck with me. Heard that she had done this incredible thing this week and thought that she deserved a little bit of a shout out, because that is just really freaking cool that she's gonna be leading a major men's team. Another segment that we do on Sound of Hockey, aside from Goalie Gear Corner, which I kind of just did a little impromptu Goalie Gear Corner right there, is called Get Off My Lawn. I have a Get Off My Lawn this week that I'd like to share with you. I don't know if you've been on Twitter much lately, but everyone's doing this thing where it's you can only keep 3 and then they put 9 random things in a picture. I hate it so much. It's a really crappy meme. If you're thinking about doing a you can only keep 3 meme, don't do it. It's not good. Just don't. And that brings me to my next segment, which is, of course, everyone's favorite vlog segment, Tips for Being Legit. This week's tip for being legit is not anything to do with hockey. It's also not anything to do with coffee making, which is what I did last week. Instead, this one's gonna be about running. As you noticed, I was keeping it pretty healthy here at the beginning of the episode by doing my squats and drinking water, high quality H2O out of my Fighting Narwhals bottle. And I thought I'd share with you that I actually do a lot of running myself, and it's been kind of how I've kept myself healthy during this quarantine period. I've really enjoyed getting out in the fresh air. It's a way to keep away from people while you're exercising. So thought I'd give you some tips because I've run a few marathons over the years, and through trial and error, I've learned things to do and not do. Number 1, don't chafe your nipples, okay? If you're a guy out there that has sensitive nipples, you need to figure out a way to protect those. Quick story for you, I was running the Philadelphia Marathon and I saw this guy who was wearing a white shirt and he had blood running down from here, right? I had learned that if you put a simple plastic Band-Aid right over each nipple going vertically, it protects your nipples quite well. So I offered this guy a Band-Aid. I said, hey sir, can I interest you in a Band-Aid? And he looked at me like I was crazy. No, I don't need a Band-Aid. What are you talking about? I'm like, all right, just kept running. I don't know if he didn't know that he was bleeding from the nipples or what, but he was bleeding from the nipples, and I'm telling you, a Band-Aid really would have helped him. So that's step 1, protect your nipples. I recommend one simple Band-Aid on both nipples. Tip number 2 for being a legit runner, this thing right here. See that? You probably think it's some sort of underwear, like a marathon, or maybe a pair of runderwear. You're wrong. This is called a flip belt. This changed my life because you can carry pretty much anything in here. It's just got these little slits, and you can slide your phone in there. You can put food in there for when you get to longer runs. It's awesome. It's got a thing for your keys, and it holds everything tight against your body so it doesn't bounce around and make your life miserable. So buy yourself a flip belt. Also, you gotta get a really stupid looking hat. This one's from Patagonia. It's got a stupidly short brim, and it breathes really well. Sunglasses. You need some good running sunglasses. This is pretty important, and it's gotta have rubber on the nose. The last thing, headphones, okay? I used to buy these $20 ones from Amazon that would kind of hook on your ears, and they were Bluetooth. They worked fine, but eventually they broke. I recently upgraded to AirPods, but had a really hard time because they'd always fall out of my ears. So I just bought these little hooks, and it solved my problem. So there you go. Just buy yourself some little $6 hooks to go on your AirPods, and that'll fix it. So sunglasses, hooks, stupid hat, flip belt, and you too can be a legit runner. This wraps up episode 3 of the Self-Isolation Station. Continue to stay safe, continue to wash your hands, continue to drink high quality H2O from your Fighting Narwhals bottle, and I'll talk to you all soon.